Hey, this is Rif G here. I'm on my podcast, the Rif G Podcast. I want to introduce my guest today. It's Johnathan Sourcream. He's a master producer for his album 2044. It's a, what is it, like a sci-fi music? How would you...
I described it so many ways. I still don't know exactly what it is because it's hard to look at your own stuff with a clear lens, but it's definitely sci-fi. It's got synth elements, right?
Yep.
It's got rock elements.
I like this. I like how it tells a story. And it tells a story of what? You tell me. And then I'll tell you what I think I feel about it.
From a broader perspective, it tells a story of humans and artificial intelligence dealing with the moment of singularity before and after. So as humans start to develop into...
Yeah, I can see where the AI is coming to the point where it's this is how I see it. I see that the humans and the humans, I think, have at that point, to tell you the truth, have become coexistent as far as symbiont with the AI, more or less, where they're like cyborgs. Because I think that's the only way we're going to be able to live with it, anyways. Because if we don't become part of it, it's going to be too fast, too advanced, and humans are just going to be useless, to tell you the truth. And it's happening already. So what I see in your album is I see the coming of age for the AI to, like, it's on the verge of being like human. It's starting to get feelings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And how the two are working together, but there's kind of some kind of conflict starting. That's how I see it. And the humans are like the monsters. Is that what that is in the song, in that one song?
Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for you and tell you that this is what I think it is, because you could think your own thing. But as far as, who the monsters are, but I will tell you that you're right. Like, you're right on point with humans and AI. And as we're going through these changes together, it's funny how we talk a lot about AI and, when is it going to be sentient? When is it going to be self-aware? What does that mean? So that's one question. But then the other question is, what happens when humans start wanting to become more like computers? Like, we have all these like little boops and beeps, and as soon as something boops and beeps, we react to it.
You're right.
Like a computer
I never thought
does.
about it that way. Yeah, that's really interesting. You're right. You're right about that.
So as I'm thinking, as AI becomes more like humans, which is a pretty fucked up thing to want to be like in the first place. And then humans, for some reason, feel compelled to be more like robots or more like computers. At what point, and then as we start converging into each other, at what point are we one or the other, and how do we tell the difference? And I was kind of exploring all that. And I thought it'd be interesting to see how people what perspectives they would take. Like, this song is about a human dealing with this, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's really intended to be an AI dealing with something else.
Right.
So, and that kind of becomes more apparent, I think, in the end, when you're dealing with the two characters that you hear in the beginning, and you hear them going back and forth.
Chuck and and you, obviously.
You don't get the other you don't get the other being's name. Is Chuck an AI?
Oh, wait,
or is
do
he
you
a human?
get it in the end? I think you get it in the end when you're having a conversation with someone else. You're looking for when. I'm not gonna spoil it. You gotta really listen to the whole thing all the way through, because the songs they just lead you on this story, and that's what really pulled me into it. Now, did you do it all on your own, or did you have any collaborators at all or anything? Or
I won't say I did it on my own. So I got a very, very generous gift from two friends of mine, a brother and sister, Sarah and Jeremy, and they got me. I'm not going to remember the name of the instrument, but it's a synthesizer.
Yep.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah, you showed me that one.
So I started messing around with it, and the sounds I was coming up with that were completely different than what I was able to do in my practice songs, like the songs that I wrote for the year before that, because I've only been doing this for a couple of years.
Right.
And it had this really cool sound, and that's when I wrote Electrical Angels was the first song with that. And I just loved the vibe so much. I wanted to keep going in that world and in that vibe. Yep. But I didn't want everything to sound the same. So I wanted to keep it congruent, but have each song sound a little bit different.
Yeah, well, I think you were successful on that. I think so on that. Yeah, and there was a music video that was created for one of your songs as well. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
So that's my friend of mine. He goes by Platinum. He's masterful YouTube content creator. And I said, hey man, I really want to make a video for this song. I think the song's pretty good. Can you just check it out? If you like it, would you like do something for me? And I was like on my hands and knees, because, I hate to ask an artist to do something for free, but we've been friends for a while. And I figured, if he liked it, maybe he'd have fun, because he had never explored, music videos. And I thought he would do a cool job.
Oh, really? You never did one before?
No, that was his first one.
Fantastic job, actually. That's a great video.
Well, he said he listened to it. He said yes right away. He enjoyed the song. He thought it was catchy. And he had like ideas automatically, and I thought what he did was brilliant. And we could probably plug his channel maybe at some point.
Oh, absolutely, give a shout out for him. Yeah,
I'll ask him first before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Actually, that song there, that has a great hook in it. That song, it really does.
It does. It's a little bit different than the rest of them.
Yeah, but it's great though. I think that's one of my favorite songs on the album, because because after I listen to it, it sticks.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
Can't get it out of my damn head. I'm like freaking Johnathan.
I kind of like that idea. I mean, so a lot of people, musicians especially, music snobs, we can be harsh with earworms. You know what I mean? Like songs that are very popular that stick in your head.
Yep.
And there's something about that the ability to create something that, whether for good reasons or bad reasons, to be able to write something musically that repeats in someone's head is an amazing thing to do. And that's why I'm in music, is because people have gotten music stuck in my head over and over. And sometimes I get the worst music stuck in my head, but somehow that stuff will inspire me to create, even though it starts out annoying.
Yep.
I'll just like keep playing with it in my head until it gets better, and then, get it down and then mess with it. But yeah, earworms to me are, that's a good compliment if someone says that,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, because it does. It sticks with you, and if you don't like it, it sticks with you to the point that you can't help but to like it, because it's going over and over and over in your head. You can't get rid of it.
That happens, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how songs become hits. It's got a good hook,
Yeah.
and they play it enough, and that's it. People just can't get it out of their head, and all of a sudden it's a freaking hit, I think that song could very well be a hit song, to tell you the truth. I don't see any reason why, because the premise of it, the music's moving, and it has a really good hook to it. So I think that song could really carry your album a lot too. So let me ask you this. What software did you use not to plug a software, but what type, was it free software? Did you pay for software? Did you buy loops? What did you do for, because I've been listening to your music, and it's like, damn, it's really creative. And how did he come up with how did you put it together? Like, because you got all these different, sci-fi type sounds and stuff like that, and turning that into music is a really difficult thing. And, what did you do? Did you pull loops and say, okay, this sounds good? Or did you have a specific sound that you were looking for? And how do you go about making one of those songs?
Oh, every song's a little bit different, as far as whether it starts with lyrics or it starts with a melody, or it starts with me just messing around and then something falls into place. But besides the synthesizer that I was using to get some bass lines and some sounds that I liked in a few of the songs, most of the sounds and all the mixing, recording, mastering, everything's done in PreSonus Studio One. I bought an audio box a few years ago so I could plug a microphone into my computer.
Yep.
And it came with a free version of PreSonus. I had since upgraded for like $100
I remember you saying that to me. I'm not spending more than $100.
I am the cheapest music maker on the planet, but I don't have a lot of money to spend.
You know what though? Listen, I have always said that if you can make a shitty guitar sound good, you can make any guitar sound good. You know, because I not that I can play, but when I was younger, the only thing I could buy were the cheapest freaking guitars ever, and that was what I learned on. That's what a lot of the best musicians learn on. Go to the guitar store to buy a really inexpensive guitar because that's all they got the money for to start out with, and they learn how to play really good on that. And then when you go to play a better guitar, it's a lot easier to play because it's smoother, it's not as much effort, and you know, I think one of the downfalls that actually happened when I started learning on cheap guitars, the action was so bad on it that I pressed really hard on the strings to play. So now when I play on a guitar that's like really easy to play, I'm still pressing really freaking hard.
I must have a really crappy guitar. I slow
myself down.
I have the same thing.
So
yeah, I get that. But don't sell yourself short. You're a very good guitarist. I've heard you play.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Plug in Rif G. Well, is there anything in particular that you would like to say about your album to potential fans out there at all? Like,
no, not really, man. I'll be honest. I don't have anything to say to potential fans.
I got you.
You know, my album's very niche, very, very niche. Like, I remember I was on Reddit and someone was like, I'm looking for, like, does anyone know of any sci-fi music? And I messaged them. I'm like, look, I didn't want to self-promote on this thread here, but here's my album. Check it out. Sci-fi, if nothing else. He never responded. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to. I have a friend who listens to it almost every day. And he's constantly telling me how great it is, which feels very nice.
Absolutely.
But it's, you know, I don't know who this album is for. I would say if you like sci-fi, if you're into, you know, heavy rock, but not super heavy, something different.
Definitely like, do you remember, Depeche Mode? You remember them?
I remember them, yeah, but I wasn't a fan.
My friend used to listen to them all. I think I'm calling out the right band. It might not be, but it was that type of music. At some points in your music, I can hear like that kind of drive in it, and it's really good.
Thank you.
Yep. So as far as what's coming next?
That's a good question.
Wait. Let me reiterate. How long did it take you to put that album together? How long were you working on it for? Because I remember you said to me one day, you're like, I'm just gonna put in all the time and get this thing finished. And you know, at that point, how much time did you have into it already, with the concept and so forth?
I think altogether it took me 1.5 years, with about, and I'd say a little more than half of that time I was actually working on it. The other time, I was procrastinating or hating myself or, you know, thinking it's not worth my time or it's terrible or just not having any inspiration or, you know, sidetracked with other things, you know, because I'm a single father and, you know, working and taking care of kids and, you know, and also I find it's much easier to write in the winter than in the summer.
Really?
Yeah, I think just, you know, in the winter you're trapped inside a little bit more, where in the summertime you're outside more. So also I have air conditioner units in my house, so I can't record anything if the AC is on. Hunted by monsters. Did you see the news today?
Hey, Rif G here. Thanks for joining me on my first podcast. Super excited to have you. I hope you enjoyed it. Johnathan Sourcream, it was an honor to have you as my first guest. Thanks very much. You can find Johnathan Sourcream's music in the links below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications so you know when new stuff is coming out, and check this video out right here. I made it with Adobe Firefly and Johnathan Sourcream's music. Rif G, peace out.
I called one of them father. He just couldn't.